What's the lesson that you learned?
Language doesn't matter. It's the intent, it's how you interact with people matters a lot.
Some say, guma fira ke.
The most important thing you need to give that client is a comfort.
How do you communicate with your buyer?
Depending on how the lead has come.
How was your experience from getting those buyers on a repeat cycle?
Once you invest with us and you see appreciation, you will keep coming back. सेल्स टीम वर्क्स बस मेरे को नंबर लाना है, कहाँ से लाऊं, इसको टारगेट कर लेता हूँ, यहाँ चले आता हूँ, वहाँ चले आता हूँ. And that's this disconnect is where the mismatch happens.
Billboards or digital ads?
Digital.
No billboards?
No, if I have to choose between the two, digital.
Welcome back to the Foxfire Podcast. Today we are talking about the buyer's journey, which nobody in the industry talks about. So my guest today does know that he had spent years managing the entire buyer journey, from the first marketing touchpoint to the final handshake at one of the India's most respected real estate companies, Navin Thakur. He is Senior Vice President at Marketing, Sales and CRM at Vascon Engineers Ltd. So welcome to the Foxfire Podcast, sir.
Thank
So
you.
tell me, how many years you have been in the industry?
So overall, for my work experience is more than 22 years now. With real estate, it's about more than 13 years.
Okay. And do you enjoy being in this industry?
Yeah, absolutely. This industry has been very active. One of the biggest industries that contributes to the GDP of the country, and it definitely has a lot to offer.
So what's the favorite part that you love working in real estate?
There's no one actually. If you look at right from the cycle of planning the project to sales or to even the handing over, every aspect has its own interesting and nuances, which gives you a lot of learning every time you do it.
And how did you enter into real estate?
It happened by a chance. It was not a selective decision. I have moved from one of the organizations earlier, and then I took a break. After that, I was looking at different opportunities when one of my ex-bosses, who I worked earlier, he was working with Godrej Properties, and he told me that, why are you sitting home? Come join me and work. And that's how real estate happened.
And since then you have been into real estate. Absolutely. And you love being in it.
Yes.
So tell me more about Vascon Engineers Ltd.
So Vascon Engineers is a listed company on stock exchange. It is only second listed company from Pune in real estate. We have two business verticals. One is contracting business. The other is a real estate business. In contracting business, we do all kind of works for other clients. And largely our client is the government, state government and central government, for which about 80-85% of the order book comes from there. The rest comes from private companies like Vedanta, Cape Gemini. So, reputed names are there on our portfolio. And then there is the real estate business. In real estate business, our focus is on 3 cities, Pune, Mumbai and Coimbatore. While in EPC, we operate pan-India. We have already delivered projects across 30 cities in the country.
So now that I see you closely work with buyers, tell me, what is buyer's journey?
Buyer's journey actually, starts with a dream that someday I want to own my home. And this journey could be even for a period of 1 year, or it could be like 10 years, 15 years. It's a seed in your mind which takes place when either you have seen somebody buying a home, or in your family, in your friend circles, or you just see too much hype building around things and see while you are living around the places. And from there, your journey starts for home buying. It takes shapes when you are financially stable and you think that you want to go and into a buying cycle of this thing. So a real estate journey has 2 aspects. One is the dream aspect. The other one is the actual buying cycle. At that point in time, person starts looking at which is the location I would want to live in, and that's the primary point of decision making. And then in that location, what's my budget? What kind of projects are in that budget? What's the configuration I want to take? People don't think too much futuristic. They actually look at the pocket first, and basis the pocket, they try to take the decision. and this is a regular cycle. There is nothing wrong about it. When I bought my first 1 BHK home in Bombay, I thought that this is it. Didn't realize that later on families are going to increase, you will need more room and all. But at that time, whatever your budget permits, you try to take decision basis that. So location, then your budget, then your configuration. These are three important aspects in this cycle. Because it is very important decision for anyone, because this is one purchase which is the most expensive purchase of anyone in the life at any point in time. It doesn't matter who is buying, whether you're buying 1 BHK, 2 BHK or 3 BHK. It is the biggest decision of most expensive purchase that you do. And hence you are slightly afraid also, you are skeptical also, and you need to be 100% sure also. Yes, there are a lot of things which happens, but 99% of the time you end up being happy with your purchase.
So tell me, you said dream, like the one thing is a dream buy and the other thing is a buying cycle. So what's the difference between both?
See, the difference is the intent. Dream buying is a thought, and buying cycle is an action. So the aspect of second thing, which is buying cycle, is more important, because that is going to give you a tangible result, which is that you took a decision, you bought a property, and there is something that has happened. While a dream is a never ending thing. Today I dream of a home, tomorrow I'll dream of something else. So dream is the seed, which is also important, equally important. Unless and until you want to do something, how will you take an action? But the important cycle is the action cycle.
So how do you differentiate once a lead comes to you? The lead can be both. One is the dreamer side and the other one is the buyer side. So how do you differentiate that from both of those leads?
What I think is that the lead cycle is actually the second stage of the buyer cycle. The dream doesn't forces you to take action immediately. It only happens when you have an intent. Everyone is too busy in their lives today. They really don't have much time to waste time by just doing things. So if I don't have an intent, I will not go and put up my inquiry. All of us are busy in our lives. The only thing I would go and try to inquire or try to get into details if I have slightest of the interest and intent. And hence the lead, once the lead comes, we take it very seriously. Every lead is an opportunity. You just cannot let go of one lead. Okay, I have handled 10 leads, let the 11th one go. No, probably the 11th one was the customer so you cannot let go of any lead.
So can we say, like, when a buyer clicks on an ad and when the lead is generated, so this is what exactly that goes in a buyer's mind, that the intent that you figure out, that which lead is a genuine lead, which lead is not a genuine lead. So it's the intent that you get to know, or you just filter it out after a one call conversation or after a call?
Yes, so absolutely. Just by giving the inquiry, it doesn't lets me know anything. I just know that somebody wants to know about my project. All right, that's the only thing you get to know, nothing beyond that. So your first conversation gives you a lot of detailing. Once you call, and in a real estate lead funnel, if you see, about 60-65% of the leads are non-qualified. The reasons for non-qualification are: no, I have not clicked on the ad. It might have happened by mistake. No, I am not looking for property. No, I just inquired like that. So these are the reasons for non-qualification. Though you cannot just give an inquiry by mistake, or you have I will not get a lead if you have not inquired. But I think customers or people in general are too fed up of attending the marketing calls, call from credit card companies, loans, real estate, and you name it. You get spammed so much that and when people are busy in their work, they would try to give you any excuse just so that they don't have to continue the conversation. Remaining 35% of the leads which comes from that, basis on the experience, we get to know when people ask questions. Okay, if you are really interested, you will be asking many questions. Where is your project? What are the configurations? How many amenities are there? What are the price points? When can I do visit? Basis that you get to evaluate whether the lead is warm, they are just inquiring for knowledge, or they are really looking at buying. So from that you qualify the leads as warm, hot, site visit, and that's how you try to get your data sorted.
Okay. So once they have clicked and they are interested, you got to know that. So how does the process initiates from your end, and what's the first thing that goes into a salesperson that after that first call? How do you communicate with your buyer?
Okay. So depending on how the lead has come, there are multiple ways. You run campaigns and you get leads. These leads are then handled by pre-sales teams. Okay. The second is that the client has directly walked into the site. So there you directly meet the salesperson. Um, in the first cycle where you are getting leads out of your marketing campaigns, your pre-sales team first qualifies the lead, speaks to them, and then arrange a site visit. Okay. And the second one who is directly walk in. So now second stage is site visit. At site visit, the sales team meet these people. First, they try to understand what is the intent, whether they want it for their end use, they are looking at investment. So these are two primary reasons. Or is it a second home, holiday home, all those, depending on the product that you are offering. Uh, Largely, when the site visit happens, the sales team sit, understand, and then according to the requirement, you pitch your client. So if you are an end user, you will be largely talking about how your life living over here will be better with the amenities, say. Okay, so you can have your morning sessions with yoga, with gym, with swimming, whatever you want to do. In the evenings there is a garden, your kids can play, you can be around with them. In the evenings there is a party hall, or there are clubs, or XYZ. So you try to present and pitch a lifestyle to these people. If you are seeing that the other person is an investor, he's just buying this property as an investment, then you try to pitch that how this location is going to grow, and because of which how your property is going to appreciate, what kind of returns you are going to get. Because if XYZ, say you are living in Kharadi, there is World Trade Center close by, Eon ID Park close by, the rental yields are going to be high, your house is always going to be occupied on rental, and you are going to keep getting your income, and also the property is going to appreciate. So your pitch changes to an investment pitch. Uh, if it's a holiday home, you can of course pitch that you can put it on Airbnb, or you can rent it out as weekend homes. You can come over here with your families and have good time. So depending on the requirement of the customer, how smartly your salespeople understand the requirement and change their pitch. There is no point me pitching ROIs to an end user. Of course, for him it will matter to a certain extent, but right now the most important thing for them would be how my life is going to improve if I come and live here. So your pitch has to be smartly handled at the sales level.
So, and how do you deal with the suspicion that goes in the buyer's mind?
See, yes, of course, our industry had gone through this phase where people really don't trust, but we have come a long way. If you see, many things have happened. RERA has come in, which has given a lot of confidence to customers. Not only that, there are a lot of branded people who have come in, corporate houses that people trust. You name them: Tata, Godrej, Lodhas of the world. So people know these corporates. They are giants, and they believe in them. Since childhood, we have seen that the most trusted wardrobe was Godrej, right? Today the safes are Godrej. So we know that these corporates are not going to cheat, and when such large corporation comes into the industry, it brings a lot of positivity. And with that, a lot of things have changed. Buyers really don't suspect good brands. It is important for any buyer to definitely look at that. When they are buying with good brands, established brands, people who have delivered in past. So those things have gone down. So really, I don't worry about those things. With our history as well as our organization, we have delivered, and customer trust us on both quality and delivery.
So, do you think that in past, or looking at the worldly news, there are branded companies as well, or the A-listed companies as well, who have fallen into the project failure segments a lot. So that gives a suspicious doubt in a buyer's head. So how do you tackle it? Because before buying, there comes a phase where a buyer comes and sits with you and tries to clear that doubt. There are multiple questions. Some say directly upfront. Some say, guma fira ke there are questions. So how do you overcome that?
See, first thing is that, when we or our sales team is sitting with a client, the most important thing that a client would need, because probably he is coming to buy the house for the first time. Okay. The most important thing you need to give that client is a comfort. Okay. Um, they they are intimidated when it comes to buying a property. It's not easy, and the entire journey, when it goes from site visit to everything, at every level, there are points when the client get intimidated, because they for real estate is daily thing for us, not for them. For us it's a everyday thing. For them it's once in a lifetime kind of a scenario. So of course they are going to have their suspicions. And as I said, that it's the biggest purchase of your life. You go to buy a grocery, you go to buy a vegetable and fruit, you negotiate over there. You try to smell, you try to see whether it is right or not. So of course when you are doing such a big purchase, you want to check every aspect, and which is the right thing to do. From the developer's side, I think if you can give that comfort to the person, and if he starts believing in what you are saying and start trusting, uh, it's not easy. But if you can get that, I think most of the 80-90% of the job is done. The other important thing is, while you are giving a comfort, please ensure that you are not fooling him. That's the most important thing, because it's easy. Today, we take pride in saying that most of our buyers are our repeat buyers. That has just not happened overnight. It took long years for a lot of people to work very hard on delivering the promises that they have done. And today, that's why we have those repeat buyers. So what action you take today is going to have an impact later.
Yeah.
So think from that perspective. A lot of times it happens, sales teams gets under pressure and commits things which actually are not going to happen, while a small short-term gratification happens, but it has a long-term impact. 2 years down the line, when project is underway, or 3 years down the line when it is getting delivered, at that time, whatever we as salespeople have committed, if we are not delivering, there is a dissatisfaction which the customer goes through. And this could be the only house that he will ever buy in his life. He will have a grudge for lifetime with you, which is not a good thing to have.
Correct. So tell me, repeat buyers in a real estate is a huge thing actually, because the price money that gets into it, it's involved in it, is huge. So how did that happen? Like, how was your experience from getting those buyers on a repeat cycle?
As I said, that there are two type of buyers. One is people who look at end use. The other is investor. Okay. Normally end use doesn't change much. I've taken a house to live. It only happens when I want to upgrade, say from a 1 to 2 or a 2 to 3. Once the family size grows, or your parents starts coming and living with you, that's the time when you look at upgrade. So that's the time when a person looks at. But other is the investment. So if a customer who has bought with me, he is living in a project for end use. He has seen the cycle that the property that I bought for, say, 70 lakh rupees has today become 1 crore in 3 years. He sees appreciation. Okay. But this say a 30 lakh in increment doesn't mean anything, because I'm not selling that property. That's my property to live. So whether it becomes 1 crore, 2 crore, it doesn't, it's in thoughts, it's on papers. Actually, I'm not selling it, so I'm not going to realize that money. So once you see that, then if I'm coming with some other project, and I reach out to these people, that if you're looking at investment, there is a project which we are coming up. Now, looking at this appreciation cycle, people will feel that, of course, these people have delivered good project, their quality is good, timelines are good. And of course, the location and other things also to check. Once you invest with us and you see appreciation, you will keep coming back. Right. So that is what has happened with our clients over long years. We are our company has turned 40 years this year. So in 40 years, that's the kind of
It's like a
value that
lifetime for a buyer.
yes, that's the kind of value we have been able to generate for our customers and for our investors.
So for you, the priority is always your previous buyers once the project is going live, or if you want to sell out the project.
See, of course, your existing clients are the easiest to convert.
Huh.
Yeah.
The half
So,
job is done
you
actually.
you don't have to
Mm.
convince them about who we are as an organization, whether we will deliver, what kind of quality we will deliver. These all things are given. They already know it because they have experienced it firsthand. The only thing that we need to look at is what's the kind of configuration, the sizes they are looking at, the amount of money they are going to invest or they are going to look at living, and the kind of amenities. If from end use perspective, if it's upgrade, then they would want to know that what is the additional amenities and anything that you are coming with compared to the project that I'm living in. So that's the only discussion which happens. So it's the easiest thing, in sales terms or marketing terms. You say, you grab the low hanging fruits first. So these are the low hanging fruits which you should take up first. So it's the easiest closing cycle. uh, and also, we every organization, most of the organization give some benefits for your in terms of loyalty and referrals and other things. So it helps everyone because it has reduced my closing cycle. They are my repeat buyers, so I need to respect that and also give some benefits to them. So that's what most of the
So how's been your sales experience? Have you done sales on your own, like previously when you started initially from in real estate? Have you done sales?
So I started not only real estate, I started my career in branding and marketing. I have been a brand and marketing guy throughout my life. Even today, that's what I'm going to live. Sales happened again. As you grow, there is a point where you realize that what's more to do. You have done everything that a marketing person in particular industry could have done. While there is always scope for learning and doing more, but there was a stagnancy which came in, and I was lucky enough to be there at that point in time. And organization restructuring was happening, so my management trusted me with the additional responsibility of sales and CRM. And I took it as a challenge. I have never done sales. In fact, to be very honest, when I was looking at my first job, I had a sales offer from a very reputed TV channel, and I said, no, sales I am not going to do ever in my life. But life comes full circle, and here I am doing sales also. So yes, my experience has been good. I learned sales firsthand. I made mistakes in my first sale itself with a customer, and I've been brutally honest with the customer that, sir, if I have known that this is how you would have been doing, I would have come prepared. And to my luck, to gain that experience, my first client himself was a real estate developer. so got a great learning from that first deal that I have done. And from there, I've come a long way in sales. We have sold one full project in city of Coimbatore, where language was a barrier for me. Had no, even today, I don't know Tamil. But going into a different state in a city which is not very aggressive, selling full project within a year was a great satisfaction that as a salesperson I have.
What's the lesson that you learned?
Language doesn't matter. It's the intent, and it's the it's how you interact with people matters a lot.
So the intent again.
Intent. You have to get friendly with customer, and friendly is not when I'm saying is not very loosely. You really need to, from your heart, you need to be friendly, not just to get the sale. And of course the brand which has a legacy of delivery. So brand name does makes a lot of difference. Most of the top brands in the country get sales people's job easier because of the brand value. Today Godrej's and Adani's and Tata's and Vascon, you name, if good brands are there, it makes your as a salesperson, it makes your life easier.
Tell me one thing. Now, as per the regional basis, when you get into the regional criteria like Maharashtra ho, Tamil Nadu ho, everything. So once you get into that, how do you read the buyer persona?
So that's where a very important thing comes in place, and most of I've marketers I have not seen doing it.
Yeah.
And I learned a very hard way from my previous boss, not from real estate of course, but that you need to prepare your brief
Yeah.
first.
But isn't it universal, regardless of the project and
Absolutely.
regardless of the product?
Absolutely. That's what
Whatever you're doing in marketing, the buyer
brief-
persona comes
the brief
in.
is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And the moment you make a brief, that will capture everything, right from what is your objective, who are you going to target to, who are these people, why should they buy, all those factors are going to get captured in the brief document. And once you have that brief document, then you have identified people that who are your target audience. It becomes it makes life for everyone easy, whether it's a creative agency, whether it is a digital agency or media agency or an event agency, because then everyone will work on that common goal, that if I have to do something for this kind of a person, what will attract him
Correct.
or her, right? And that is the most important aspect, that you need to have clarity in your head that what is there. And most of the times that is where we miss, this could be unintentionally. You are in too much of a chaos, launch is coming, let's do this, let's do that, and you forget the basics. And that's where most of the things then go to the chance, that अच्छा ये कर लेते हैं, ये नहीं हुआ वो कर लेते हैं. So to avoid that, spend 1 day, 2 day, 1 week on that brief, because that is your Bible, which is going to help you.
Yeah, agree. So correct me if I'm wrong. So I think buyer persona is like you figure out the who, and then you figure out the why, and then you start working on the what. And I think nowadays people, regardless of the industry, directly jump to the what. And I think who and why needs to be very clear for you to do any kind of sales, because that's where the marketing starts working, I believe.
See, what happens is, most of the times when people work in silos, the departments in the organization work in silos. And as an organization, all these departments need to work together, because everyone is, at the end of the day, working for a common goal as sales, right? So if a marketing guy and salespeople, they understand the customers and they both work towards that according to the end customer who you have to target, your results will be much better.
Correct. So what's the percentage you would rate that people actually work on the brief?
In Pune, 10% max, not even that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And
I have not
is
seen.
that the reason that sales actually get hampered?
No, see, so what happens is, it is not just about sales getting hampered. It is about, whether sales are happening in Pune, brilliant. I think we are amongst the top cities in real estate performance. No, it doesn't. But you know what, the problem, what happens in the organization because of this is that, the synergetic effect which it should bring in, that doesn't happen.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that nobody does it. There are a lot of people who does it, and you see the results of those as well. You just don't have sold out projects just because somebody did a good job. It is always a team effort.
Yeah.
It's not one person, it's not one department that can give you that charm every time. All right. So if somebody is doing it consistently, that means they are doing something right. And I think that thing right is that all of them are working together.
So you mean to say that people do work on it, but people don't know how to take the advantage of it. So it just remains on the paper and it doesn't come out.
Yeah,
in the
mostly,
practicality.
while you do plan and everything, getting it executed to how you have planned, at least 80-90%, if you do that, you are bound to succeed.
Okay. Sometimes is it hard to bring the buyer from the call to the site visit? Is it tough?
Every time. It's very difficult to pull out somebody from their regular schedule and to get to a site because you want to sell. everyone is so busy throughout the weekdays, morning till nights they work, and the only time they get for themselves or their family is weekends. And on those days also you try to capture them.
Yeah.
Is a difficult task. It's not easy.
And how do you do it?
See, there are many ways to do it. One is that, of course, if their intent is very high, they will come by themselves, by with your follow up, and they will definitely come. If the intent is not very strong, it's just like, theek hai, dekhenge, hoga. To, then the other way could be that you curate interesting events. Try to do something for the kids. Everyone love their kids and they'll do anything for the kids. So if there is something interesting for the kids, people will bring their kids. It could be a carnival, it could be a competition, it could be a music show, or some kind of thing. Or if it's a more of a family thing, you can have music concerts and other things, and you can pull people. So there are many ways to do it. There is no right, no wrong way. You have to figure out what could be the right way for the kind of target audience that you're targeting.
Correct.
How do you pull them? If my target audience are people who doesn't have kids and double income, then keeping an activity for kids is futile. Right. But at the same time, if I say do a nice music concert, and they could be music lovers, they would come in.
So then again, the buyer persona comes in and read the buyers and get back into the planning segment.
So your brief document is a buyer.
So once the buyer visits the site or at the experience center, what it should feel like and what usually it feels like? How's the difference like?
What it feels like, I can definitely tell you, but what they think it should be feeling is very difficult to gauge, because every person is a different person. So you try to average out and try to do something as a developer. Today, if you see at sites, you have beautiful sales lounges, sales offices, and sales galleries.
Luxury lounges, not even beautiful.
Lounges, yeah. And when I said that these customers get intimidated,
yeah,
that is one point in time. I remember the times when malls came into existence. There were a lot of people who were hesitant in going inside because they thought, "ये इतना बड़ा mall है तो बहुत महंगा होगा." So I will go to my regular grocery shop and
get
it only. It took years to change that perception. And when a person who is buying a house for the first time, he thinks that he is making the biggest decision of his life. And when he knows that properties in the city cost 2 crore, 5 crores also, and when you are selling a project of say 1 crore or sub 1 crore and have those luxury lounges, it will intimidate a lot of people. So they'll be hesitant. The moment they enter, they are not used to. You create your lounges which are better than 5-star, receptions and lounges. So people get hesitant over there, and that's where that comfort which you need to get.
Yeah, and then how do you make them feel the warmth?
So depending on the product, you have to create your lounges according to your product. Okay, if I'm selling a ultra luxury, uber luxury product, I definitely need to have, a 5-star kind of reception for the customer. But when I'm trying to sell a mid-segment product, I need to probably do something which has a feel,
Familiar,
to give a comparative thing, a small kind of a ambience, which doesn't intimidate also and is more welcoming. So it is very important for a place that you are doing is welcoming. And to along with that, it should give comfort to the client to come in. Because once he gets comfort, then only he'll be open up to talk to you. And unless and until the client is open, you will not understand the need of the customer. So you can't understand that what kind of pitch do I put into this person.
So again, the buyer persona thing, and then you go back, read it, come back. Who does the planning? Like, who is the one who in charge of planning everything? Like, how it will be built? How will be the experience center built? What it should feel like? What's the arrangement? Like, यहाँ पे ये होना चाहिए, वहाँ पे ये होना चाहिए. Apart from event managers that you're going to hand over the things to, from your end, who does the planning?
See, there is no one person who does that planning. Again, it's a joint effort because multiple teams are going to work in those environments. Yes, it has to be led by somebody, and I think largely that leading should be done by the marketing teams because they have done the customer mapping. They are the ones who are creating the campaigns and communication which is going to go out and create a perception about what this project is going to be. So those are the people who should take lead. Understanding what should be where and all has to be discussed with the people who are going to work there.
Yeah.
So largely sales team and admin teams who are going to operate out of that. What are their requirements? What are the things that they will need? How it will also to understand how that customer journey is going to be there.
Correct.
So the customer journey has to be seamless and it has to be very simple. So those things have to be a joint decision. How the things will look, again, the architectural team comes into place where they will plan, they will design, and they'll say that what kind of finishes have to go in and other things. If you are doing a sample apartment, then of course architectural team takes the lead in developing it, and of course marketing team also gets involved. How the look and feel of the thing has to be, whether it has to be modern, minimalistic, heritage, or antique look or something. How do you want to project the project? So depending on that, the entire space gets designed.
So once the buyer visits the site, and after the site visit, it goes home, it takes like 2 days, 3 days. How do you get back them interested again to, you just that nudge, ki, do you really want to buy the house? So how does that go? Like, how do you start filling the gap later onwards?
So follow-up is very important. You just cannot leave any person who has visited and just wait for them to come back. There are people who will come back, of course. It's not that they will not, if they are genuinely interested and have liked the project. But at the same time, follow-ups are very important. As I said, people are too busy in their own lives. They have things which have more priority over this. So your follow-ups have to be adequate. It should not be over the board, because that irritates people. You will understand when you have to do the follow-up in the conversation. The end of the conversations could be where you say that, so sir, when are you going to make up your mind, and when do you want to take the decision and select the apartment and all those things. That in that conversation you get to know, let me discuss with my family first, or I'll come back with my family. So if the visit is to be rescheduled with the family, then you need to follow up, sir, next weekend would be good. So should I call you on Friday to fix up your appointment for Saturday, Sunday? So you need to take a comfort from the customer. When are they comfortable to talk to you? You might ask, sir, what would be good time to talk to you? अरे मॉर्निंग से तो 6 बजे तक तो मैं ऑफिस में बिजी रहता हूँ, बिल्कुल टाइम नहीं होता है. कैन आई कॉल यू अराउंड 6:30, 7? वुड दैट बी कंफर्टेबल? So you know what time bands are good with him to call.
Correct, yeah.
And also the timelines, as I said, that if he wants to visit with the family, that means next weekend. So you try to fix up an appointment on Friday evening so that they can come Saturday, Sunday. If somebody says, I'm going to think, let me just evaluate, or of course, people are going to evaluate multiple projects.
Correct.
So they might take more time. So you can, there is easy way. If he's not responding with a call, you can drop a message. So I tried calling you. Seems you are busy. Okay, kindly let me know when can I call. I'm just following up that when would you like to visit next to understand further.
So how long you guys get into the follow-ups? Because sometimes, for example, if I am looking at a house now and my intent is to buy for next year, but I'm not clear about it, and I am not making it clear that upfront as well. So how do you identify that?
See, over a period of time, when you continuously speak to people, you get to know. There are projects where the closing cycles are larger. There are projects. There is one of our project where the closing cycle is as fast as 1 month to as long as 2 years.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so there is a customer who has been visiting me for last 2 years and still not made the decision of buying, but he's still coming. So and then there are projects where the buying cycles are from 1 week to 3 months. So depending on the product, whether it's a luxury, mid segment, or what, depending on that, average closing cycles. In that, you have to identify. It comes through experience. There is no way in which I can say do this and you will get this. So it's through the experience of salespeople or people who are interacting with them. They'll understand whether this is a genuine buyer or just looking around for this thing, or just doing competition mapping, or is looking has an intent but don't know when.
Okay.
So basis that you put your remarks and convert those leads into different buckets.
So you read people through every call, every conversation.
You have
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
And depending on that, your next pitch is created. Got it. So tell me more about CRM. People, I don't think so, know more about or much about CRM here, apart from the what is CRM, that the full form of the CRM.
So there are multiple ways people look at CRM. CRM is customer relationship management, customer relationship manager, but largely CRM is customer relationship management. Okay. Manager, of course, is a person, but it's a system, you can say, or a vertical, which manages the entire life cycle of a customer the moment they have taken a decision to buy. Um, most of the buyers and people gets irritated the moment CRM comes in, but they need to understand this is a function which is going to be holding your hands in your journey from the time you have taken a decision till the time they give you your home. So they will ask a lot of questions. They will have, the CRM person would like to understand a lot of things from you when you buy it, because the idea of them asking those questions from you is to help you in a better way. So I'll tell you a simple example that once, your sales team have sold and they hand over the customer to the customer relationship manager, the manager will speak to the customer again to understand, sir, you have bought it as an investment, or you have bought, what is your thought? When would you, how would you want me to follow up with you for various things? They will even ask that, how did you get to know about this project? Now customer, अरे यार मैंने खरीद लिया ना, अभी तुम्हें क्या करना है, ये सब पूछ. They are trying to understand because one, if they need to understand why you have bought it, they need to understand where do you come from so that they can help you better. And when they are going to raise demands, how are you going to pay? So if I'm an investor and I say I'm going to be self-funding it and I'm not taking a bank loan, and there are stages in real estate where multiple demands can be generated in a single month, and when I'm self-funding, I would not have endless funds. I will have to prepare myself. And salesperson would have said, sir, between two demands, there will be a difference of 1.5 2 months easily. And now here you come to a stage where multiple demands are getting raised in the same month. It creates a kiosk in my financial, planning.
Yeah.
So that's why if CRM people understand how and what I am, they will be able to, if the CRM person would have known that I'm a self-funding guy, and, having multiple demand could create a problem, they would have intimated me a couple of months in advance, sir, in 2 months later, you will have multiple demands, so would request you to plan accordingly. So the customer can be well planned. Now, CRM person is your friend. Don't treat him as a person who's irritating you. There are a lot of things which he's going to help in terms of snagging, in terms of handover, possession, collection, sending you receipts, ensuring your tax TDS which you are deducting gets things settled into accounts. So he's a friend who's there.
Yeah.
While the salesperson's journey doesn't end at sales, but still customer feel that he's the guy that is my go-to guy.
Yeah, because I think nobody is familiar to the concept of CRM. And I think it's two-end problem that even from your end also you guys are not giving that kind of importance towards CRM.
I completely agree. That's the unfortunate part. The CRM team doesn't get the due credit which they should get, and sales team gets the most glamorized thing because they are bringing the revenue, which is fair. But trust me, I have worked in organization. They have been very, very fair, and there was no special treatments for any particular department. Everyone was treated, whether it is admin, whether it is HR, whether it is sales, marketing, finance, everyone. So they all were treated on par. And the great line that I heard from the promoter over there was that, how will you sell if the architect team don't design it? So don't glamorize sales. So that's when I realized that what he's saying is absolutely correct. If admin doesn't provide you right support, how will you able to handle clients? If your HR doesn't appoint right kind of people, how are you going to set up your teams? So every function has its own role, and you cannot negate anyone. And in the same way, I think among sales, marketing, and CRM is the most underrated teams, and they should get their due credit.
But I think most of the companies don't have CRM system. Most of the companies.
See, one is system, and one is teams. While majority of the companies have the system, they don't know how to operate it, and they are not using it to the potential that CRM softwares can be used. And to tell you, they would have the best of the softwares on house, but not getting utilized.
But I think people are also not aware how to do it. Is it?
No, that's the responsibility of the heads and leads and promoters to ensure that the teams, if we are bringing in the best of the world in our company, then people should be able to use it as well. If we are not able to train people, if we are not able to make them comfortable using it, then that software is of no use. You can bring in the best. You can give a person a Ferrari. If he doesn't know how to drive, what's the use?
So what softwares would you recommend or suggest that you have used and are good?
There are many. From CRM perspective, I think SAP is the widest used software across the industries, not only real estate. Apart from that, you have multiple softwares including SFDCs and Metro Leads and Sell-Dos of the world. If all these comes with today, PropTech has grown so much in the country that you will have 20,000 options for any software that you want to replace or you want to change.
So using it and having it are two different things now.
Absolutely.
So tell me in the simplest terms, like I'm a 5-year-old, tell me in that term that what it is like using a CRM system in a company.
It is, you for a 5-year-old, if I have to say, you want to watch a cartoon, you have a remote control in your hand. If you know which channel to switch, you will get your entertainment.
It's a very simplistic way you have explained into. I think I have not seen CRM system being used in D2C as well. I have not seen CRM systems being used in a B2B corporate worlds as well. There are companies who use it. They do have in-house softwares, ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं है, but they don't know how to use it for the purpose that it is made to serve.
No, there are a lot of companies in real estate also that I have seen that they are using the systems very efficiently. To the extent, I tell you very simple things. Out of 90 companies in the city would be using CRM software. How many of them sends the birthday or anniversary wishes to their customers? There are very few. But there are companies who are doing it. What does it take? It takes nothing in a system. You just have to create that creative once for happy anniversary and happy this thing, feed into the system, give a command, and you don't have to do it for the lifetime. But somebody has to take that onus and do it, and then your systems have to support it. A marketing guy can create a creative, a CRM guy can push. Now, otherwise what happens is CRM guys will have manual records जिनके साथ रेगुलर टच में रहते हैं, उनका पता है, तो उनको वो एनिवर्सरी अपना फ़ोन करके या मैसेज करके विश भी कर देंगे, बर्थडे विश भी कर देंगे, but you don't do it for 100%. Now it is person driven, not a system driven thing. So for organizations on a long term, system driven things work far better, and organizations grow much also. And once your organizations are growing, you have to go system driven, not.
And I think that also puts everything in discipline and intact and maintains the time hygiene and everything. I agree. So Vascon is a listed company. So through years, what has the company learned? Like one thing that company learned to get the buyer journey right?
Making things simple and having the right intent, I think, are the two important aspects that I have seen in this organization since the time I have joined. have been the value systems of this organization. Customers can reach out to our founding promoter, Mr. Vasudevan, even today over a call, or they can come and meet him in the office, and he gives time to do that. That shows how open the mindset is.
Everybody is approachable depending on the intent. So from your side on sales and CRM, how much it is important to keep the site experience seamless from end to end to carry forward into the next buyer's journey?
So the journey has to be seamless and simple for customer. It is, and every customer is a different customer. So you have to be patient with different set of customers, because there are customers who are going to take decision quick. There are customers who are going to take a lot of time to take that decision, and there are customers who are going to ask you a lot of questions. When people start asking a lot of questions, there are times when salespeople get uncomfortable. See, if my only suggestion, and I'm not any expert or to give details on preach people, but my only this thing is that give as genuine information as you can. Things that you don't know, you can always say that, let me check and come back to you, rather than making false promises or give false commitment. Try to be genuine, and don't try to get in a trap of pleasing the customer so that you get a sale, because that's when the false promises happens. Once the customer comes at site, ensure that they go with with everything clear in their head about your project, pricing, whatever you say. They should go be very clear when they are leaving, because when they go with a clear mind, it makes it easier for them to take a decision.
So what's the one thing that a developer should fix when it comes to buyer's journey?
I think makes things simple.
Just simple.
Just make things simple, because this person is a first time home buyer, probably 80% of them would be, and for them, the more simple you make things, the easier it will be for them to take a decision.
Okay, so keeping it simple in terms of process as well.
Everything, whether it is about process, whether it is about pricing. For give you an example, like we at real estate a lot of times says that how home starting from so and so. Now then there are plus that customer gets to get to know later. And so what we did in one of our projects, which was an affordable segment, which we said that these are the lowest segment of people. They don't understand anything. How do we make their life easy? We said X price, all inclusive. You don't have to pay a rupee more. That was the campaign we did. This is the price, you don't have to pay a rupee more. That brought so much peace in the mind of people to take decision. अच्छा इतना है ना, तो उसमें ये तो नहीं आएगा, वो तो नहीं आएगा. Everything is included. So that gave a lot of comfort to people. Otherwise,
fixed pricing and vague pricing makes a lot of difference, you mean to say?
As I said, real estate is a daily affair for us.
Correct. It's a very good insight regarding the pricing. Very good campaign it must have been. Like what sales or how much sales you did through that?
See, we did almost project sold out with that.
And time frame?
This was about 6 months.
Within 6 months you sold out? Good. So of all the launch events and buyer events, which one was your memorable event that you had ever done?
Difficult one. Couple of them. One, when I was with Godrej Properties, we did our flagship project launch called The Trees. That was one of the very memorable, events that we had done. And then the second one was the affordable segment in Pune that I was talking about. That was a memorable event in campaign that we did.
So for both the events, you had like a good ROI?
Yes.
Both the events. Good sales.
Yes, good sales.
Tell me something. When you say good sales, is it the numbers? Of course, it's the numbers you speak, but does the time frame matter?
It does. And these two events are not memorable for me just because of the numbers. They were memorable for various reasons. So like the Godrej Properties, the Trees launch, which I'm talking about, it was not just about numbers. Yes, we did sold out and everything was there. But that is memorable because, right from Mr. Perocha Godrej to our office boy. Everyone was involved in that campaign, in that event, not just campaign, in the event. On the event day, I had, I was, coordinating various departments with other colleagues. So our admin team was there, our design head was there, our, accounts team were there. Everyone was handling clients. Rarely you see on a launch when people from different departments are coming in helping in sales process. I had literally asked my design head to take a client and go and explain him the project. And nobody actually mind that who is giving direction to whom. That synergy which was there in, it's still so memorable, it's still so fresh in my mind even after 12 years now. I cannot forget that entire thing, setup which was there. At the same time, the affordable segment again was on a different level. It was a biggest campaign at that point in time, which was done in the city of Pune. We literally painted the town red. All our campaign color was red. So we literally painted the town red, the hoardings, bus shelters, auto bags, radio, newspaper, whatever you see, you will see my ad. You cannot miss my campaign.
So there was a reminder at every eyesight.
Every moment in the entire city, the scene was, if you were in the city at that point in time, you would have not missed the campaign. So it was a different feeling, and very, very proud of how that campaign rolled out, and sales numbers happened and other things.
How did the idea of the campaign came up?
So we debated for almost 3-4 months that how we should approach this entire thing, right from the ideas of, should we do Mahada type lottery system here, or what should we do a ad which is more like a government Mahada ad, that come book your house, fill in the application and all those things. So there were so many ideas which were running around. And again, then what you said about bias persona. So we said, who are finally our target audience? Let's understand them. And then we will think about what to do. After mapping those things out, we realized that our campaign cannot be in English, which we think. And even today, you think a lot of things in campaigns in English and try to adapt it to the language. So then we realized that if we have to target these people, then we need to find a right agency who masters the language and understand the sentiments. So from there, we came to an idea that which agency should we hire. And that's, again, as I said, the brief document helps you. You did your persona, you understood what kind of customer. So your agency selection came from here. Right now, वो agency, या तो हमारा एक रिटेनर पे एजेंसी होता है जो सब कुछ करता है, या फिर हमारे सेट एजेंसी होते हैं, उनको बुला लो, let them do it. So then we realized that we need to have a different skill set of people who will do the main campaign. So we identified an agency. Then we had a long briefing sessions with them. We had a lot of brainstorming sessions with them, came up with multiple ideas. And then we realized that we need to do a campaign which is a English campaign. And English in that also has to be so simple that it's a day-to-day language for people. Yes. So we came with a campaign line of Abhi nahi to kabhi nahi. So the idea was, अगर घर खरीदने का decision मैंने अभी नहीं लिया तो मैं कभी नहीं ले पाऊंगा. So we made it that simple, and that campaign was run through. And that's then the rest was history. We had largest number of walk-ins in 2 months that market has ever seen. Of course, that market comes with its own challenges and other things. But yeah, we were.
This was back when, in 2015?
2019.
18-19, before COVID, basically. Okay. So when you are into the event, can you tell within first hour कि ये successful जाएगा या नहीं जाएगा, इसका ROI आ सकता है नहीं आ सकता है? Like first hour, is it readable within in first hour?
If you're waiting for that, you're too late. As a salesperson, or a sales head, you need to know these numbers, much before your launch event, that how the thing is going to happen.
So you get that feeling before.
You have to get that feeling. You need to get that numbers. You just cannot wait for the launch day. Otherwise, at most of the times, it's too late. Yes, of course. In once the event starts, you you get the hang of that. Whatever we have done, are our results going to convert how much percentage? 80%, 90%. Because people would have given you checks, you would have clients on board, but when you actually explain the project, that's when the decision happens. So you need to be in that 1 hour. You need to evaluate that what would be my conversion ratio now.
So tell more about events. So is the event money worth it?
It depends on the kind of event.
The launch events are always worth it.
See, launch events in real estate are two different events. Okay, there are two events in launch when we say. One is the channel partner meet, that is your launch event, and the second is which is a half day event, right? The second is your launch event, which happens at your site, which is a long event, which is probably 1.5, 2 months. Okay, so if you ask me which event, so for a CP meet, if whether my ROIs are good or not, it depends on how much money I am blowing. And how many channel partners that I'm calling are going to work for me, actually work for me. It is very easy nowadays, people, when we say that we are having a CP meet where 600 CPs have come and 700 CPs have come, at the end of the day, how many CPs out of those 700 are going to work for you? Should I go with that large scale to create a hype that so many people have come and joined us, or do I get those 200 right set of people who are going to work for me? So it's an objective that you have to achieve at the end of the day. Depending on objective, you can decide which one you would want to do. When it comes to the events at site, the launch event for customers, when we are talking about, as I said, you need to make it very welcoming for people, very comfortable, because the more comfortable the client is, the faster decision and easier decision for them it becomes. And of course, the people have to be very, humble and helping.
So what is that one thing buyers actually remember and it is ignored by the developers during the events, basically?
See, very difficult to say, but we as developers will try to create the best of the ambience and the theme based setups and other things, which people will remember for 1, 2, 3 days at the most. But there are small things which people, and specifically I'm talking about mid segment, where people will keep and remember the giveaways that you have given. Okay. I remember seeing a planter that we had gifted to our clients during one of the launches, and even after 2 years when I went to their house, those planters were sitting over there. So I realized that small things can make a lot of difference. Those people, for them to keep those plants for 2 years, watering it every day, they would have seen my brand every day while watering it. I think those are the kind of things probably we need to think more.
The recall value has to be more.
Recall value has to be there.
Yeah.
And things which people will value. At the end of the day, doing a great setup will please me as a marketer, my promoters or my teams as much. But at the end of the day, for how many days people are going to remember it?
So another thing is with the experience marketing. How would you initiate experience marketing, or you would rate initiate the experience marketing now compared to the previous 10 years?
Oh, the change has been huge. Earlier, it was a seller's market. So people will just come and buy whatever you sell at whatever price you sell. Today, the situation have completely changed. You have to please people to buy, and the customer is spoiled with so many options that I really have endless choices to make. And my choice will then finally come down to the location, the price, and the comfort.
And what was one of the event that you worked with Foxfire that you loved and enjoyed working with?
We did sponsor one of the musical shows in one of the halls, and over there we engaged with the Firefox team for the first time, where they had to put up a setup, had to give some promoters and all, and it went off very seamlessly. Really didn't had to look into it. When we were there, these things were set up, and that's what you expect as a client, that you have given a brief, your agency has delivered on your brief on time with right quality. That's what you expect.
And when was this event?
This was pre-COVID, long
Achha.
time, yeah.
And what's the campaign target that was set up?
No, this was a sponsorship that we had done for that musical event. So the target was largely engagement and nothing, not tangible into sales.
Okay.
So it was largely engagement with people and making them aware about the projects that we are running around.
So
in
was
the
it a
city.
good experience?
It was.
So we did manage to create the experience that you were expecting to do it throughoutly.
Yes.
Okay. So if I want to learn one thing about buyer persona and a buyer journey, I am not from a real estate industry. What's the one thing that you would tell me in general, just to learn a concept? And what's one thing that you want to tell the real estate world?
See, when we say buyer persona, it's a again, it's a very broad term. How do you define? So for a real estate project or for any particular product, there could not be just one type of person, right? We spoke that there are end users, there are investors, and there are existing customers. Now, how these different segments, and at the same time in your project you might have different configuration. So again, your personas will also change. So what we create something called as pen portraits. Now, pen portraits identifies that for a 2 BHK, I am looking at a person, Mr. So-and-so, Miss and so-and-so, he's married or single, whatever. What kind of lifestyle does he live? What kind of brands do they use? What kind of vehicle they use? If what are the weekend things that they do? So if I'm saying a dink when I spoke about, double income, no kids, what could they be doing on a weekend? They probably will be doing outings, concerts, music shows, or movies. Similarly, at the same time, when we are talking about a family of 4 with 2 kids and husband wife, what would they do on a weekend? Probably grocery shopping, going to malls with kids, taking kids for some fun activities, or holidaying. So every customer segment is going to be different. And hence you have to have those pen portraits written down to last extent, even to the extent that saying that what kind of mobile handset they would be using. Today in the world, it might have not been very important 7 years back, but today it makes a lot of difference because you get to understand the aspiration value. A person who probably cannot afford an iPhone and should not have an iPhone also wants to have an iPhone. Right? That tells you that the kind of aspiration in the mindset of a person. So defining to those extents, if you are able to, you will do a good job in executing the things later.
Got it.
And most of the things now has become even more easier with AI coming in place. A lot of things that we have spoken, we have not even talked about how AI can help over here. Today calls happen, your first interaction with the organization happens on an AI bot. We talk about personal experiences.
Yeah.
An AI is not a personal experience. Do you want to give that at the first place, at your first touch point, is a question mark. It can be debated. I'm not saying it is wrong. I'm not saying it is right, because you have to churn so many leads. By getting cold call done, your AI helps you filter that. But again, that's your first touch point also. So you need to figure things out. It's too early, but yeah.
So for the rapid fire, a one word and whatever the first thing comes in your mind. So a buyer fills a form and hears nothing for 48 hours. One word for what that developer just did.
Lost.
Complete this. The moment a buyer decides to trust a developer is when
you comfort them.
The one thing buyers say they want, the most developers still don't actually give them.
Clarity.
Best follow-up call you have ever seen or been part of. What made it different?
Oh, can't say in one word. It's an experience that I had, and I can't forget it ever.
What is it?
One of our pre-sales team members, she was talking to somebody on phone, and I was just there, so hearing the conversation, and she's like, talking to somebody like, कितनी बार समझाया तुम आते क्यों नहीं हो? मेरे को नहीं पता, कल आ जाओ. ओके. एंड देन आई वाज लाइक, हु आर यू टॉकिंग टू? ही सेड एक क्लाइंट है. मैं कहा ऐसे बात करते हैं क्लाइंट से? लाइक सर कल बात करूंगी. नेक्स्ट डे शी कम्स विथ 3 चेक्स. सर वो क्लाइंट ने 3 यूनिट खरीदे हैं. आई वाज लाइक ओके. So the lesson that I learned out of it, that the relationship she built with that person was that she could command thing with her. While I can keep giving gyan on you should be polite, humble, this and that, and she was completely opposite of of all these things, and she managed to get the check.
That's very interesting and very new to hear, actually. So, one budget, one choice. A beautiful show flat, a world-class sales team. Which do you build first?
I think teams have to be built first.
And the real estate industry's biggest blind spot when it comes to the buyer, the thing nobody says in a boardroom.
We really don't try to understand the psychology of the customer, that how he will make the decision. We try to impose our thoughts. I think that's where the difference is, and it's easier to be said. Even I am trying really hard to figure out a way how we can do it.
Okay. Billboards or digital ads?
Digital.
No billboards?
No, if I have to choose between the two, digital.
Okay. For social media, influencer marketing or testimonials?
A healthy mix of both.
One word for a real estate ad that looks beautiful but gets zero inquiry.
Last few units left.
A developer calls you 2 weeks before launch and says the budget just got cut in half. First thing you cut and first thing you protect.
I cut the sales target.
And protect?
I'll protect the campaign thought.
The most overrated thing in real estate marketing right now.
The best project.
An event that looks perfect on Instagram but converts nobody. What went wrong?
The brief.
One thing every real estate salesperson should be told before they walk into a launch event.
I would just motivate them to say that, boss, you can do it. You have a good product, you have a good location, and you are a good salesman. You'll be able to do it.
A launch event in 3 words. What are you going for?
Convert, and convert.
Digital campaign or a well-run site visit? Which one closes more buyers?
A well-run site visit.
Most underused tool in real estate marketing today?
Brief.
No CRM?
No.
No CRM?
No, I think brief document is the most least used thing right now. And this I get to listen from a lot of agencies also, that they struggle to figure out because they don't get correct directions.
Okay, it was a lovely segment with you, and it's a wrap for today's episode.
Thank you for having me again.
So we would like to have you again for next segment for something that we will speak on that people really are not aware of. Today, buyer's persona is something people don't speak about. The buyer's journey is something people just know from, like, there's a buyer, there's a click, get it, sales, and that's all. So it was a very interesting podcast for us for today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. If you're watching our videos from very long, like and subscribe our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much.